Hi guys, I'm Michael Newrock and welcome to the market analysis video for August 25. Hope you've been enjoying these little sessions. This is where I go through my daily routine, go through the charts, see if I can pick the good from the bad from the ugly. Happy Friday to you all. I'm grateful that it is Friday, just like everyone else. I do enjoy it, but there is a day that I really enjoy as well, and that's Monday morning, the time when the kids go back to school and everything, just for that little bit, goes really quiet. Anyway, happy Friday to you. Let's go through the charts and we'll see what's happening. Let's start, as always, with gold. Gold currently 4 out of 6 high time frames are pointing up. There's no real trade in it at this stage. I thought maybe it was going to continue to go up after catching that 15-minute trade earlier this week, but nothing's really been happening on it. If we move it down, say to the 1 hour, it's a bit too flat, even if there is a crossover, too flat for my liking. I want to see, like this, I want to see that nice bell curve occur, and over here I'm just not seeing that. There hasn't been enough of a move downward. We'll zoom down to the 30-minute, again flat, and on the 15-minute, again flat. You could catch a swing, for example, on the 15-minute, but it'd have to be a nice swing, and I don't like how the parabolic star dots are still being displayed. So parabolic star standing for, of course, stop and reverse. So a lot of traders do use it for that basis. We use it primarily for trailing purposes, but as it stands, no trade that I can see for gold today. Euro's looking good. Took a 15-minute trade earlier in the week, and I have actually changed it through to the 4 hour. The reason is that on this higher time frame, you can see that there's a lot of pips still to be had. Over 100 pips to this, about 110 pips to this high. Now, it has been fluctuating between overall upward conditions to bidirectional to now currently it's in a downward move, but I am holding these trades. I do have profits locked in. I could close it up a little bit, but you can see it's been consolidating, so it won't take a lot for this with only 2 upward arrows to change to 4, and I'll show you what I mean. If we get a move up, particularly, if it comes up above this trend follower, that would be nice. We're immediately going to, before that, we're immediately going to get the MACD changing the green. That's denoting a swing upward. The RSI is above. So the 4 hour is going to turn to a green. That'll be 3 out of 3. Now let's look at the daily. The daily, particularly the swing we're looking at, it's actually, by next week, may change into a daily trend as well, following on this giant move upward. It's not going to take a lot of a move for this red histogram bar to change to green, and therefore this daily swing will change. So far, we have the possibility of the 4 hour swing changing to green, the daily changing to green, and the weekly. Let's have a look. The weekly wouldn't take a lot for that to change to green either, and you can see a really big move. Again, don't stand in front of a freight train right now. The direction is, the bulls are in charge. It's definitely moving in an upward direction. So the trick now really is just to get in at the right time. So I'm holding these trades because I got in at a good on a good trade setup on the shorter time frame. If you didn't see it, go back a couple of videos and just for the sake of continuity, so you can see in real life what's happening with the trades and how I tackle them from day to day. So with this, I'm sticking. I'm holding my position. Now all it'll take then is a slight move upward, maybe only 20 pips, and the 4 hour the swing will change to green, the daily swing will change to green, and the weekly will change. A swing will change to green. So suddenly there'll be 5 out of 6 of the higher time frames are pointing up. That makes it really strong, and there's plenty of room for movement here. If we get another swing, that could be a new. If you're not in this trade already, that would certainly provide a new swing setup. It's a little late in as far as, here was a better place to get in, but certainly if it swings up, there could be some more movements upward, and I'm certainly going to be holding this position. Okay, pound bidirectional. It's been weaker than the euro, and we're looking at some change. I don't know if it's going to happen now. It really needs some big movement uh, up to around the 28.50 mark thereabouts. Even 28.40. We want to knock out that parabolic SAR dot there. It's going to give us a little bit more confidence, but it is a flat move up. So I'm on the sidelines for this one currently. Uh, as to the direction. Euro pound, it's been heading up all well since July and prior to that. So 4 out of 6 high time frames are pointing up. I'm not looking at shorting this. I'm looking at another opportunity possibly. So on the 4 hour, we could get a swing up, but it is pretty high on the chart already. So let's look at the 1 hour. And it's going down. Let's look at the 15-minute. Okay, so it's going down. So what we want to do here is wait for the downward move to fade itself out, to exhaust itself. Look for a move back upward, and could be a good opportunity to get in, even on the 15 minutes. So let's say it moved down to around here 91.90, 90. Well, yeah, about 91.90, because it looks like it is going to move down. And then let's say it hooked back up and we took a trade at around 92. There's about 30 pips to this high, and then we're catching it on a 15-minute, which is not a bad idea considering, and then hold it. So while the euro is strong, the euro pound is going to tend to be strong as well, and vice versa. The euro pound being strong, it's putting pressure on sterling. Pound Swiss, of course, is pretty much the opposite of the euro pound, and you can see there similar kind of action occurring. So no trade in it right now, just like yesterday. Sometimes you've got to wait a couple of days, or dare I say, a week or more, for a good, decent trade set up to occur. But that's the name of the game. And if you're holding your profits on other trades and locking in as it goes, then you'll find that you won't miss out on the buzz of trading, because you'll always be in on a trade. But the whole idea is to have those trades last longer, and to only go for the more quality ones, not for everyone. So Aussie is still in a downward move, but it has been consolidating for the last 2 days with no real clear direction. It did swing down back here on this bar, and when it was sitting around here, the close, it was looking like a strong short with the opportunity, and it did give a valid signal in the end. But take a look at the wick on the retracement of this candle. Now, when you get a minimum 2 bar sequence where the close is lower than the previous close, as it is with this case, but then you get the wick of say this bar bigger than this bar, and a considerable percentage of this bar, then you're looking at a flip. And actually, an unadvertised bonus in the download section is the price flip indicator. We're going to be using that in the future to bring out some new software that's going to be more advanced for reversal conditions. But if you haven't seen that already, you can load it on. But I don't want you guys to get too confused, because you only want to be trading the one trade system. But it's good to be aware of things. So when you see a retracement like this, probably a good idea to back off. So even though it did give a valid swing trade, the sign was already in that candle. And I actually went back into the chat room and gave an alert suggesting that, or posting that we could be looking at a flip on the Aussie, and it hasn't happened, but it hasn't gone down either. So consolidating, not seeing a lot of trade opportunity on this pair currently. But if we get let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. We'll see what the day brings, but for now, no trade. If you get a crossover, even then, it'll be flat to the upside. So another move down, it could be that another opportunity, 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, it might be a goer. But just watch out. There's a fair bit of data events or risk events occurring today, so we'll see what the day brings. Kiwi is been bouncing off support, it's been consolidating a bit. Downward trend overall, 4 out of 6 high time frames pointing down. But I'm on the sidelines for any position there, and it hasn't been doing anything that I see as an opportunity. It's remaining under pressure. Uh, More so than the Aussie, for one of the reasons being the Aussie Kiwi is very strong and going upward. If we see, and I mentioned this earlier in the week, if we see the Aussie Kiwi flipping to the downside with a new crossover, changing to say bidirectional, then it might be definitely would be more compelling to look at this on a short basis, but with a Vela trade, of course. So dollar CAD drifting down, just slipping away. There's no trade in it now. I mean, there were a couple of good trades here for the swings, but if you're not in this trade already, then it's gone a long way from the inception or the origination of the trend, about 200 pips so far. So if it swings back up and we get a crossover, then it could be a good opportunity to go long on a Vela trade. Let's say hypothetically it came in around 25.50, 25.60. There's a lot of pips in there. There's 200 pips back to that recent major high. So I'll be eyeing that one off when I do see a opportunity to go long on the US dollar. It's generally been good. Take a look at these moves up here. So I'll be watching that closely, but for now, no trade. Swiss, okay, dollar Swiss, it's 5 out of 6 pointing down, but I'm not really buying it. This has been a valid trade. Everything's in place, but it's very, very flat. There's no. Take a look at the angle here on the fast moving average. Okay, it's like 60, 65 degrees, and take a look at this angle. It's more like 15 degrees. So there's just not enough of a movement in it really for me to say one way or the other. And again, I'd be looking at possible long plays, but obviously when some valid trades come up like this one, just back here. So maybe there will be a move down, and might be a false move, and then move back up. Again, we have some data events today that may help, or not help the situation. But as I always say, my only loyalty is to the market. If the data is bad, if the technicals are showing that it's dropping, then go short. If the data is good and the indicators are showing that it's going well to the upside, then go long. Of course, I don't really pay a lot of attention to the fundamentals. It's all in the charts, so to speak. So dollar yen, I mentioned this earlier in the week as a possible long. It has given a signal finally, but hasn't really been going anywhere. And I'm still preferring the euro yen. Last time I looked, if you get maybe a consolidation and a swing up, maybe later on today, if data events support the US dollar, then could be a good opportunity. I mean, there's lots to gain here, and it would quickly change to a swing up on the 4-hour would immediately change it to 4 out of 6 high time frames. So it'd be a conservative trade, and might be one to watch still. The euro took that earlier in the week as a swing, and it's been going well. Pretty much time to lock in some profits, only because it has already reached its 1-to-1. So we had about 30 pips on the stop. It's already reached about 50, 60 pips. So just shy of, a little shy of my first target, which is more at about 100 pips. So, at this stage, it's just how much do you want the money? Do you want to lock in the equity into to capital? Or you could move your stops to break even, which is same price as your entry. Technically speaking, should be a little above that to make account for the spread. So if it does move against you, then you've lost nothing. But it's a good position to be in, because if it moves, in your direction, in this case up, then it's what I call a free trade. So there could be some good opportunities here for upwards of 200 pips. And then swing up right now, we'll change it straight away to this 4-hour swing to green. 4 out of 6 will be upward, and we might even get a change on the weekly swing as well. Pound yen, interesting. It's just starting, but just so weak. I really would like to see some movement if I was interested. So if this closed, the bar closed at about around, above this parabolic star, around 140, 140.70, but preferably say 140.80, 140.90, then there's some possible good movement. Everything else is in place. So, this one's going to alert on close of bar. And the risk is pretty small for the, let's say it came in around here, you're risking about 80, 90 pips for the stop, but you've got, over 200 pips to these highs. And if you held it, just under 600 pips for the ultimate recent high. Okay, Aussie yen, that has just been signaled on this last bar. But with this uncertainty in the Aussie, then I'm reluctant to look at it. Of course, if the yen crosses do start moving, then you generally see movement in all of them, some more than others. So again, you've got to pick the right pair. But I'm a little cautious on the Aussie yen. Kiwi yen's even worse because of the weakness in the Kiwi. So no trade on that one. CAD yen, it's been moving up, but not very confidently. Swiss yen, it's crossed over. For whatever reason, a signal wasn't alerted at that particular time of the crossover. But it's looking well. I don't see it as the pick of the yen. The pick of the yen in my mind is the euro yen still, which is why I got into that earlier this week. Okay, so euro Aussie, this has been a great little success of the week. If you took this from my calls in a couple of the earlier videos this week, both the trend and the swing have done nicely, of upwards of 120 pips. Currently sitting at around 56 pips. New swings just come into play. There's still movement in it, but it would be nice to see weakness in the Aussie for this trade, or strength in the euro, or both. That would be the ultimate. So there may still be a move. See how this MACD is drifting ever so slightly? If we get a swing to the upside now, and say, this bar or the next bar or the bar after that, while it's still above the zero line, then of course it's going to go to 5 out of 6 of the high time frames pointing up, and some more movement there. Small stop of only about 35 pips, 40 pips thereabouts, even if you've come in on this pair late, but around 75 pips for so not quite a 1 to 2 risk reward ratio, but pretty close. And if it breaks through, then even better. Pound Aussie, it didn't quite do it. It's just weakness in the pound right now is hindering those particular pairs. So no trade there unless we see some really decent movement here. This changes to bi-directional at the very least, and it could be a trade. If the pound starts moving, it's certainly an option. Euro Kiwi, this is probably the best one of the whole week. I was looking at this high back then. It was about 135 pips, and it was at the height of the chart, but it's since gone just under 300 pips, and currently sitting on around 240 pips, and I'm still bullish on the Euro Kiwi. Euro's been strong, Kiwi's been weak, so a great match. That's what you want to do all the time. Match a strong currency with a weak currency, and that's going to give you your low-laying fruit, your easy pickings for the week. And that's what I've been talking about all week. There's only been a couple of pairs that I've been interested in: the Euro Aussie, the Euro Kiwi, the Pound Kiwi that we haven't seen, that Euro Yen, the Euro and gold. They have been the main ones. I've looked at a couple of others as well, but they have been the main ones, and yeah, it's been a great week. So I hope some of you guys have taken some of those trades because it's been a good week on that regard. So pound Kiwi, this is also going really well from the trend, and it's about 100 pips up. This bar was really interesting. It actually opened down here. So when it was here, it actually at 77.39 thereabouts. It actually opened on the next bar at 76.74. So about 60 pips dropped, but it moved straight back up and actually gave a swing trade alert. So I'm remaining bullish on this, even though the pound has been weak, the Kiwi's been weaker. So it's provided some decent opportunities. Aussie CAD, no trade there for me. Kiwi CAD, no, it hasn't been any trade for me all week. It's just moved too far. Euro CAD, no, it's way too weak for this downward move. It hasn't been a valid trend trade, but the euro's been strong, so I'm not really interested in shorting it, despite it being 6 out of 6. It would require a bit of a false break upward and then another, trend trade maybe to get me interested in that particular trade. And the pound CAD, weakest of all. Again, it's just moved so far since the original trend trade here. It's 440 pips. So good for you if you took that one. So guys, there's been some good opportunities. It's important to pick those opportunities well every week, and don't chase pips. Don't go after every single trade that you can go for. Just focus on picking a couple and sticking with them, and not flopping your direction too quickly. You want to sort of make a decision and stick with it. Obviously, if the market changes, then reassess. You don't want to stubbornly stick to your position when everything else is telling you that price is reversing. But anyway, I've been enjoying these little video sessions. I think a big improvement to the webinars. I hope you have been too. Till next time, good trading, live well, and I'll see you soon.